our conversation now. I mean, just recently, residents as well as surfers in Strand, rather in the Western Cape, complain about raw sewage spilling into the ocean. It's been a perennial problem in the city of Cape Town. And our reporter, Nobesuthu Hejana, is finding out what the city's water system maintenance plans are. And she joins me now, of course, to take this conversation forward. Nobesuthu, a pleasure having you coming to the show, colleague. But once again, adding the voice to how vast this problem is, as well as stretching to the Western Cape. What can you tell us about some of the maintenance issues that lie there?
Well, Tumelo, you would remember between 2016 and 2018, the city was hit with the issue of possibly facing day zero, and it was in 2018 where residents of the mother city were warned to use water sparingly because of that day zero. And to talk about the maintenance work and all water and sanitation related issues, I'm joined by the City of Cape Town's MMC for Water and Sanitation, Dr. Zahid Badruddin. I mean, we talk about what we've experienced in 2018, and just tell us about some of the work that has been done and also the budget that has been set aside to ensure that residents of the mother city, they get proper and clean water.
So this financial year, the city presented to our residents the Building Hope budget. And in this Building Hope budget, we've seen now the doubling almost of the water and sanitation budget, capital budget alone, from 2.3 billion to 4.2 billion this financial year. And in that particular budget is a significant amount of important capital work that seeks to protect our water security, make sure that we're waterproof going into the future, and also looking at our sewage infrastructure so that ultimately we can protect our environment. And so there's a significant amount of work. You've touched on the drought to start with, and we in the city have a program that is called the New Water Program, where by 2030 our commitment to our residents is to produce 300 million litres of new water from new water sources by 2030. This means that we are determined to reduce our reliance on surface water, which is our dams, through investments such as abstraction from our aquifers across the city, the Table Mountain Group Aquifer, a number of other aquifers, Table Mountain and Cape Flats Aquifer, and then looking also at desalination in the future, looking at water reuse as a significant program that we'll start to talk about as a city, but also looking at a simple means of alien invasive species removal in our water catchment area so that we can safeguard that surface water that goes to our dam. So that's our commitment. But when we look at our sewage infrastructure, we have about 487 sewer pump stations, and we have so many because the Cape is very flat in a large part, and so we need to pump this effluent from the residential areas to our wastewater treatment works. We've got 9,000 kilometers of sewer pipe alone, not even including our water pipeline. We know that this is at various stages of age, and so we've invested now significantly into making sure that we can double our pipe replacements from 50 in our first year to 100 this year, and then 200 going forward. That's not even touching on the proactive cleaning that we're doing, where last financial year we surpassed our target of 200. We went to 240 kilometers of winter readiness program. This is jetting, bucketing our pipes in preparation for the winter, and then not even touching again on our pump stations, where in our first year we spent 40 roughly million rand in pump station upgrades, then 70, and this financial year 123 million rand to invest in our pump stations, where we're making sure our pumps are working, there's necessary security, necessary screens to try and protect foreign objects from entering our pump system, so that our pumps keep working, so that we can reduce overflows in our city. And we've already seen significantly that over the past 2 years worth of investments, we've reduced sewer overflows in our city by 30%. That is major. This means that there's less sewer on our roads, less sewers going into our rivers, and this is exactly in keeping with the commitment that our mayor, through his campaign promises, have made to our residents.
Talking about that, we know that in the Strand area, there were also issues regarding the sewage spillage, and it's something that in the area of Muizenberg in the past, they've also been experiencing. So just to bring confidence to those residents in Strand, what can you say in terms of like the work that is being done there to sort of like fix that?
Yeah, so the Strand is an issue at this very moment. We know because of the aged infrastructure in that particular area where we've seen some significant collapses, but those emergency repairs have already begun. The teams are on site at the moment, and linked to that emergency repairs, the entire Trappie sewer line, which is that particular system, is going to be rehabilitated and be repaired as part of major infrastructure investment on that side. Similar to our Cape Flats sewer line, where we are rehabilitating that particular line of an extensive amount of areas that will benefit, because we recognize that there's a lot of sedimentation silt here. The lining may not be as thick as what it once was, and so we're coming in here with often very up-to-date and advanced interventions where we're not even digging ground anymore, because the rehabilitation can happen underground through technologies that we're very proud of in our city to be able to implement. But in terms of the Strand line particularly, besides the rehabilitation and the replacement, there's also a Gordons Bay pump station project that is going to be kicking off this particular year, where monies have already been set aside in our budget, which altogether will see an immediate long-term improvement in the sewage concerns in that community.
Because of time, we will finish off this interview offline. And Tumelo, hearing from the MMC for Water and Sanitation in the city of Cape Town, talking about those interventions being done. And also at the moment, we do know that majority of the dams in the Western Cape are full to capacity, but the municipality does say that it will forever warn people to use water sparingly, because due to climate change, it's uncertain whether we might face drought, even though there are things put in place to ensure that people do have quality water.